first bucket being, oh, I realized that I didn't like this person that much. I was just infatuated with them, because you go no contact and you kind of forget that they exist. And that's a very clear sign that you were really not that into this person. You were just infatuated with them. The second bucket, and I've had this conversation with many of my friends.
Did that relationship turn toxic? And be honest, why? You're probably the anxious one watching this video. We'll focus on the avoidant and what they feel during no contact. Someone who has an avoidant attachment is going to feel relief after a breakup, and they're probably going to go back to doing what they were doing before you guys met, or they're going to go into one of their favorite coping mechanisms, which is working a lot. Of course, they don't recognize this, but they're keeping themselves busy from feeling their feelings, which is why 6 months later, when they do start to feel their feelings, you might get a text message saying, "Hey," or "What's up?" And while you monitor their social media, hoping for their return.
Ladies, this is how men feel during no contact. I've spoke with my friends many times about their no contact experiences, and all of the conversations seem to fall into two buckets. The first bucket being, oh, I realized that I didn't like this person that much. I was just infatuated with them, because you go no contact and you kind of forget that they exist. And that's a very clear sign that you were really not that into this person. You were just infatuated with them. The second bucket, and I've had this conversation with many of my friends, is realizing during no contact, wow, I miss this person. You check their social media, you check what they're up to. Maybe you block each other and you use a burner account to see what they're up to, but you do really realize, wow, I miss this person. If you don't miss this person and you don't think about them and you realize you were just infatuated with them, if they reach out, it's probably best to not respond. But if you miss this person and you realize that they were somebody that's very important to you, if they reach out to you, or maybe you just break no contact and reach out to them, it could be worth exploring to see where things.
Yeah, I think he's right. Sometimes it's not love, it's just infatuation. It's something like butterflies in your tummy. You just want to get it quick and get done with it. And as soon as you get done with it, you want to run off and you go into no contact. So I think he's right. He's right. Even it also happens with women. Sometimes you meet a guy and you feel that, oh, this is the guy, this is my dream man, blah, 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 blah. It goes so fast, and all of a sudden, you don't feel anything for the guy anymore. You don't want the guy, and you also go into no contact. So it goes both ways. It's all about infatuation. And sometimes the no contact period is time off to get like, to think, to have a rethink of the situation. Like, do I really want this person? Do I really miss this person? Like, people need that time off, and maybe they can reach out. But someone said, in some cases, that every girl has a guy who has been with them and then ghosted them, stayed like for about 7 months, called them back and said, oh, this happened. They give all kinds of complaints and how they want to come back. And if the girls are still available, they hook up and then later ghost. So I have seen this trend on TikTok. I've seen it on social media. So many young girls saying that this is like what's happening nowadays. Like, every young girl has had that kind of a situation, that kind of a guy in their life who is always ghosting, ghosting and coming back, ghosting, come back, ghosting, come back. So I don't know if that's the new trend, dating trend, but I mean, it's really toxic. It's a toxic trend, and it's emotionally and mentally draining to be with someone who doesn't really know what they want, or they're not so certain of whether they want to be with you in a relationship, or whether they like you, or whether they love you, or whether they're attracted to you. So it's better to be certain to know that this person is my person and this person is down for me. So, I mean, if someone ghosts you, don't waste your time. If they come back, close the door and tell them, no, this is not how it works here. Yeah, you are either in or you're out. So if you ghost, you go into no contact, it means it's forever. No, don't try to contact me back, because it's not healthy mentally. It's not healthy. It's not a healthy thing. It's so toxic.
If you wonder what men are thinking during no contact, take a walk with me. And let's be clear, it's mostly anxious attachers that ask this question. You're looking for clarity and closure and trying to figure out what you did wrong. Because if you can figure that out, then you can fix it and gain access to the love that you deserve, not realizing that you're already worthy, whole, and complete. and that you shouldn't have to fight to gain access to the love that you desire. And if we're being honest, you're the only one that's playing the no contact game. And that person who's the object of your desire, they'll message you in a couple weeks. And you'll be super excited to receive their messages because it's going to feel like, oh my gosh, it's happening. You may even have a failed meetup attempt and then they ghost you again. But they're just making sure that you're still there, that you're an option. And when you're anxious, you're more than happy to be one. The question you may want to ask yourself is, were you dating a man or a boy? Were they anxious, avoidant, and have ADHD? Did that relationship turn toxic? And be honest, why? You're probably the anxious one watching this video. We'll focus on the avoidant and what they feel during no contact. Someone who has an avoidant attachment is going to feel relief after a breakup. And they're probably going to go back to doing what they were doing before you guys met. Or they're going to go into one of their favorite coping mechanisms, which is working a lot. Of course, they don't recognize this, but they're keeping themselves busy from feeling their feelings. Which is why 6 months later, when they do start to feel their feelings, you might get a text message saying, hey, or what's up? And while you monitor their social media, hoping for their return, they're probably dating other people. And it's not because they don't remember you or that you weren't special to them, but this is their standard operating procedure. It's their iOS that hasn't been updated since they were young. And if you answer that text message 6 months from now, when they finally feel their feelings, they're going to say things like, I miss you. It was a mistake to let that relationship go. And because you guys had a push-pull dynamic in your relationship, they often felt flooded, which feels like a threat to their nervous system. And now that it no longer feels like a threat and the rose-colored glasses are on, they're thinking, we should give that another shot. And I'm not saying don't give it another shot. You do you. But you should probably ask the question, what's changed? What's different? Have you gone to therapy? Did your financial problems get solved? Did they work through whatever they needed to work through? But more importantly, did you? You see, you have to be honest about why you were in no contact to begin with, and you take ownership of part of that. And for clarity, no contact can look like this. You block them on socials and in your phone. You delete their number or you change their name to do not call. And then you focus on you while healing your shiznit and getting your groove back. You start reading books and listening to the Blueprint podcast to build a more secure attachment style. Secure attachment to yourself. And you learn to not play the block, unblock, block, unblock, block, unblock game. Nobody needs that kind of toxicity in their life. Stop it. It's not good for either of you, and if you're not careful, it becomes a pattern in all of your relationships. There's just so much chemistry. I can't stay away. It's amazing. It's electric. I've never felt this before. But you have. It's called home. How was home? And I know, regardless of all this information, there's one question that's still on your mind. But do they miss me? Yes. If you spend any significant time together, they're going to miss you, but maybe not at the level that you think or would hope. Focus on you and build that secure attachment style. You got this, and you're a lot closer than you think.
I agree. I agree with everything that he said. The block, unblock. It's so toxic. It's so toxic, like I already mentioned, And he says that when this happens, you need to ask yourself whether you're dealing with a man or a boy, because there's a difference between a man and a boy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter their age, but it depends on the level of maturity. Somebody who is young, a guy who is young can be more mature than an older guy. So it doesn't matter. Their age doesn't matter, but you should ask yourself, is this what I want? Is this what I want to deal with? Because some people have this, it's like their operation procedure style, like he mentioned. That's how they operate. They attach, they are with you, they detach, they ghost you, and then after some time they come back. They ghost you and they block you on all socials, delete your number and all that. And then later on they remember, oh, this person exists. I have to call them. Oh, I miss you. Come on. This is so toxic. Is this what you really want? And he's saying that you really need to ask so many questions. Who are you dealing with? Are you dealing with someone who is suffering with ADHD? Or, You need to really ask yourself who you're dating or who you want to be with. You need to build yourself. You need to secure yourself with the secure attachment style to self, not to the person who is ghosting you. You need to focus on yourself. You know, this is so toxic, mentally draining to deal with such a person. I mean, the guy is always coming and going, coming and going. No, no, no. This is not mama's house. If you want me, you need to be serious. If you don't want me, bye.